What's going on, guys? My name's Zach and today we're going to be looking at the Hurricane, regarded by many as the Swiss Army ship of Eve. You can do so much with it, it's really versatile, loads of different fits, armor, shield, etc, etc. So we'll dive right into it and we'll start with some PvP fits. So we're just going to go quickly over the implants and guns I'll be using, which should be new player friendly-ish. They are obviously, if you buy all of them, they're a little bit expensive, but affordable for the most range of people, I would think. A few missions would sort of get you one. So we've got Gene Lucians 1 and 2, which helps with fitting, and we've got cap recharge rate, which is only like a -3, but still does help in the long run, and that helps obviously all ships. For the main Hurricane dedicated ones, we've got motion prediction, which is tracking speed for turrets. We've got medium projectile turret damage, 3%. And Gunslinger, which is all damage turrets, so you get 3% on that as well, so it does really help. So like that's 6% right there. And the guns we're going to keep newer player friendly as well, but we're all going to be using the Meta 4 guns instead of the T2s, which are obviously a little bit more expensive but do exactly the same job as the T2s, except you don't get the specialization skill damage bonus or rate of fire bonus, whatever it is. And also you can't use the T2 ammo, which, to be honest, in PvP, the Hurricane, normally you're going to be using faction ammo and stuff, unless you're going to be using hail or something like that to, like, right up close to battleships. But I think Republic fleet, like, ammo is definitely acceptable. Obviously you get tracking bonuses with it as well, so that's that, and we'll get cracking with the rest of the fits. So here's the pretty much cookie cutter standard shield cane you can get. There is a couple of small variations that people might do, but I'll run through them as we go. So in the tops we've got the 425 scout cannons, Meta 4s, medium newt. Now you can also swap that for a small bomb if you do require. Small bomb is quite handy on the shield kite because obviously drones are going to be all over you. But the newt is good because you're going to be kiting out at range. The frigates are going to be coming in like first to get you, so you'll be able to slap the medium newt on and hopefully newt them out if you do get tackled, because it is, even though the cane is really good at killing frigs, sometimes you can't like shoot them because they get under your guns too much and stuff. So it is, I'd definitely recommend using the newt over a small bomb. And in the mids we've got Warp Disruptor 2. I would definitely recommend using the T2 because you need that extra range over the T1, plus you can overload it to like 28. Adaptive Invulnerability Field. And just to keep it less skill point intensive, we've got a Meta 4 Shield Extender, a large one, and a Meta 3 MWD, so that should help the newer players try and fit this up. And also sometimes people fit double shield extenders instead of the invul, which is good, I would suppose, for the extra HP, but you're going to be losing resistance on there as well. Also your SIG's going to be really, really high when your MWD's activated, because you do get a SIG penalty with the shield extenders as well. And rigs, we've just got an AM screen because it's got 0, the standard, and 2 field extenders just for extra HP as well, so you can see on the field a little bit longer. In the lows we've got 3 gyro stabilizers and 2 trend enhancers and a damage control. Now, like, newer players should always try and get Tech 2 most important mods, so we've got like Tech 2 invul, gyros, definitely try and get them over the Meta 4s, unless you really can't use them and you're dying to get into this, so I would think that it would try and sort of be acceptable. And we've got drones, we've got hobgobs, so all in we're doing 692.4 DPS with my skills. Obviously yours is going to vary at each level. I can't like give DPS figures, there's so many permutations it would just take forever to try and explain, so you're looking around at least 500 DPS with this fit, and the third gyro does really help. So that is basically a cookie cutter shield cane, I would think, for most people who've played Eve for a long time. That's pretty standard. If you're like struggling to fit the 425s, obviously you drop down to the 220s. They will actually track a little bit better, so they're better for killing smaller targets, but for the main part, 425 is going to give you the deeps, so it's happy days. Right, we'll move on to the next one, which is going to be armor, I think. Let's have a look. Yeah. So we've got buffer armor. And this one's sort of a different setup. We've got 220s in the tops because the power grade for the plate's quite high, and I think I was only able to put a small newt on there, but again, a small newt's fine because like if frigs are coming to tackle you, you want to be able to like cut them out over time, so that'll still work. And why not have something in there instead of nothing, or like again like a smart bomb or something like that if it fits. Now on the 1600 MWD cane I always put a warp scrambler on. Don't know why, you can fit long points if you want, but generally for this fit you want to be inside brawling, so obviously a scram's a little bit better. Although double-edged sword, it's going to be harder to get into scram range because you are going to be quite slow with the 1600 plate on, even though you've got an MWD. But personal preference, if you want to put a disruptor on, because obviously you've got the web as well to slow them down a little bit quicker, you can do that fine, but I've always personally went for the scram. So web, like I said, try and get T2 ones if you can, because they're really important for the extra range. Cap booster, just to keep the cap going, because I do feel with the armor cane you're going to be micro warp driving around quite a lot more than you would like even a kite cane maybe. And in the lows we've got 2 gyros, 2 energized adaptive membranes just to buff all your armor resistances up. 1600 plate, which is really hard to fit, like you can see, even with the genos and everything I've only got 80 grid left, so another option is to drop this medium cap booster, which will free up quite a lot more power grid, so you could put like maybe another web in there, you've still got plenty CPU for stuff like that. Double web cane's really effective against smaller targets. And damage control, always put a damage control on PvP ships, well 99% of them. So you get really good HP, like 40k all in, and that's really good. You still get 601 DPS, so it's quite a lot even off the 220s with 2 gyros. That's including the 100 DPS drones with my skills. Obviously yours is going to vary, but still really solid, good tank, love it. And the rigs, we've just got Trimark armor pumps just to boost that HP all the way to the max. So that's the buffer cane, one of my favourites. Whoa, sorry, one of my favourites, and yeah, use that quite a lot. Next up we've got the active armor fit cane, which in this case I've went for some massive resistances to keep it going. So in the tops we've got 220s, and medium newt was actually be able to fit. Mids we've got web scram, cap booster with Navy 800s. Now that's really important that you use the Navy 800s because you could actually get one charge into the medium thing and it'll like boost your cap right up, so I think that's quite needed if you're dual rep. MWD, obviously meta 3, you can use meta sorry, you can use T2 if you like, obviously personal preference, but I'm trying to keep it so like it's obviously lower skill point based. In the lows we've got dual reps, dual medium armor rep at 2s, or like meta 4s obviously if you can't use the 2s, but I would recommend them. Damage control, and the 3 active resistances which were weakest on the cane, so we've got the explosive, kinetic and thermic. Now you can swap these up quite a bit. You can put 2 energized adaptives and then put a gyro on, so you're dishing out a little bit more damage. You can see the DPS is quite weak from the 220s with no damage mods. So that's entirely up to you, but massive resistance is really good on an active rep and ship. And the rigs, we've got medium anti-thermic pump and 2 anti-kinetic pump and an anti-explosive. So again, focusing on resistance, which is pretty good. You can also swap them out for like repair rigs and stuff. So, but like when I'm flying active fit ships, I'm always trying to pump up the resistance as much as possible, because that in turn helps your repairs and your cap, because you're not using your repairs as much and stuff. So, like I say, personal preference again, but that's just the way I would fit it out. Now, this is one of my favourite fits. It's a bit crazy, but it's really good, and it's called Camp Buster for a reason. So, if you've been subbed to us quite a long time, I posted a video called Low Sec Motivational, and I used this fit to sort of bust gate camps. I only got like 1 decent fight, which is against 2 fleet stabbers, which I did kill. The video I'll probably link on screen somewhere if you want to see it. But basically, the theory was fit as much tank as you can, as much resistance, and as like much tackle as you can, so hence the dual web. So the theory was I would be jumping through into a low sec like just totally blind, so if there was tons of shit there then you could like sort of survive long enough to kill stuff. And the resistances, I put an active explosive on because people that know armor hurricanes are going to be shooting like EXP at you, so you want to try and boost that right up so you're not weak at all. Now the fit in the video is slightly different to this one because it was before the patches kicked in, when they changed all the fits. So in the video I had 2 1600s on, but I'm only able to fit like the 800 and a 16 on this one. But in turn that let us also refit a micro warp drive, which in the vid I wasn't able to, so I don't know if that's a little bit better having the more mobility, or because I would have preferred the extra tank over the MWD, because if you bust a gate camp you're going to be pretty much in range of stuff anyway, so because obviously it's got dual webs. So starting from the top, so we've got two 20s, small newt, web, double web scram, MWD now, two energized explosive hardener active one, and 800 and a 1600 plate, and a damage control. Now when that explosive active hardener switched on, the HP goes absolutely crazy, so that's pretty cool. But it was just designed to jump into gate camps, a couple of battle cruisers or something, or it's a bunch of cruisers and just rape face. So like I say, if you watch the vid, it does actually happen. Got a good like fight with them fleet stabbers, so awesome. And moving on to an active shield one, I haven't seen one of these for a long time, and mostly you only see these in PvE because of the perma shield booster in, and they put loads of like cap mods and stuff in. So, but for PvP I have actually seen them in the past. Now I've got a large shield booster too on this, but most people in the past would use Dread Garista large shield booster, which does make a massive difference to this fit, so just bear that in mind. I just couldn't fit one on Sissy because obviously you can't buy them. But just running through the fit, two 20s, medium cap, shield booster, medium capacitor booster, which is like, you've got to be really like cap conscious on this because the MWD as well, so you're only getting one cap per charge, so you've got to be really careful the way you're using it. Try and overload the shield boost as much as you can to get as much out of it in the time that you're using it. Scram, because you've got the MWD and you want to be quite close for this one. It's quite brawly, so you want to be doing as much DPS as possible up close in the optimal and stuff. 3 gyros, 2 track ends, and damage control. DPS isn't quite far off the 425 fit, so you got 664 with my skills, including drones. It's like 566 on the guns, 97 on the drones, so that's not too bad at all. Hobgobs. Yeah, so it's a bit of a random fit. Like I say, you don't usually see active canes kicking around unless it's in PvE, but it is really good to try, and it's fun, you know, if it does actually work. It gives a sense of achievement because you're using something random. And the rigs, the cane's got 0 on the EM shield, so I had to put 2 EM rigs on and a thermal. Is that right? 2 EM, yeah, and a thermal. So again, emphasising the high resist on active fits, which I do prefer. Alright, let's move on to the next one. So this one's a Sino bait ship, which you can obviously use in low sec and null sec. There is a lot better Sino ships than the Hurricane, but this one does actually work because you can get massive tank on it. You got damage control. Now I did go for the T2 plates because obviously you get more HP, and the 3 lowest active resistances, which was the thermic, and the kinetic, and the explosive. Got double web, double point, just as like web and scram stuff, like ready for your capitals to jump in. And because it's got such a high buffer and some big resistances, the carrier should get time to jump in or whatever it is to try and give you a good reps and stuff, so it should keep you alive. The rigs, we've got armor Trimarks and obviously the Sino on the top, and because the power grid's so tight you can only put small guns on, which I went for the 280 howitzers. It's not really meant to dish out any damage to this, but obviously to frigs it's still going to be like punching them quite hard if they're close-ish. But really it's for like I said, just Sino baiting the carrier in and then waiting to get some reps, so you could use that if you felt quite lol and wanted to make a decent video. That would be quite funny to see. So this last fit's probably my favourite fit because I'm a huge fan of ganking stuff in the face before it even knows what's happened. So in the tops I've definitely went T2 howitzer artillery 2, 720 mils. Like maximum, like the biggest arty guns you can put on the cane, so it's really good for like one shot and frigs or desis or like haulers and stuff like that. So, and we've got a small newt just in case for the frigs. Now they did change the power grid output and stuff quite a lot for the cane when it got changed, so fitting this was quite a bit of a challenge. So obviously it is quite tight on the grid and the CPU at the minute. In the mids we've got invul, large shield extender, long point obviously because you're more long range with these 720s. MWD, I should have really put a T2 on there. And in the rigs we've got an ancillary because them 720s just take up so much like power grid, like with nothing else on apart from the guns, that like they wouldn't fit on the cane by itself. I had to use this. Medium core field extender and another one just to buff up the shield HP obviously. And those have got 2 gyros, 2 track ends, damage control and a reactor control. Now the old way of fitting the 720 cane would have been putting a nano in its place, but since they nerfed the grid so bad that you need to use like another mod, because you really don't want to be giving up any HP like by fitting another ancillary, and they're really expensive like to boot, you know, they're like 10-15 mil now or something. Obviously 100 discount sissy, but that's alright. So yeah, 720 cane, definitely out of all of these, like the 425 cookie cutter and this one, the 720 is me two favourites, which are quite popular. I mean the 720 cane really is quite underestimated and not used that much, but it is good for like if you're playing station games with like Desis and Frigs on a station, you can probably get a decent alpha strike out there. And Gorman did actually post a really good video which looks right in depth of this fit, so, or like a similar fit like before it got nerfed. So if you want to search Gorman Hurricane, it's definitely worth the look, even though his microphone is the worst in the fucking world. So this leads to a last fit, which is a PvE fit, and you can go either perma dual reps or perma shield, and I chose perma shield because you get more damage out of it. And I'll go through why in a sec. So in the tops we've got 220s. You probably could put 425s on to get some extra DPS, but for what little you do get extra, I think the tracking over the 220s is a lot better. So, like, because obviously you're going to be like level 2, level 3 missions or whatever. You don't really want to take this on to level 4 because you'll get spanked. So there's going to be a lot more smaller targets to hit, so the 220s really do shine there. We've got a medium NOS. I mean it is stable, but the NOS is always nice to have just in case you start getting neutered like randomly. And large shield booster, obviously T2's fine. Cap recharger to keep yourself stable. Invul field to boost up all your resistances. So if you can't use a track computer, I'd use like a web or something like that just to kill all the frigates that come in. I mean you've got drones, so frigates really shouldn't be a problem, because by the time they've gotten close to you they're going to be getting face rolled by these 220s. So like replace it with a web if you can't use a track computer. In the lows we've got 3 gyros to max up that damage, 2 track enhancers to keep a little bit range and a little bit more tracking, and a flux coil to keep you stable. So the whole idea is obviously keep stable, shoot loads of damage and do loads of face melt stuff. And we've got 3 control circuits to keep your cap running stable, so happy days. That's what I would personally use for the mission runner, like for a level 3 I think that would be absolutely fine. Oh, I just thought if you was, instead of a web you could put like another cap recharger in there if you're not stable, so like a double cap recharger involve large shield booster should be absolutely fine. So that's about it for the PvP stuff. Hope you enjoyed, and like I said I did try and gear it towards like the newer player with the T1 guns on most of them, so any more things let us know. If you want us to cover some other stuff just post them in the comments, or on one of the other vids, send us a mail in game, or Chris or Alfie, just do that and then we'll have that sorted out for you. So that's it for this one guys, and I'll catch you next time.